Behind every great detective is a mystery, and behind every great medical examiner is a hidden truth. For 7 seasons, Detective Jane Rizzoli and Dr. Maura Isles were Boston's sharpest weapons against crime, one following her gut, the other following the science. But when the last case ended, what became of them? Let's find out as we take a look at the cast of Rizzoli Isles, then and now. Jane Rizzoli wasn't just another detective, she was a force of nature, a warrior in a world that often tried to break her. Played with fierce intensity by Angie Harmon, Jane was the kind of woman who walked into danger without hesitation, who took every scar, physical and emotional, as proof that she was still standing. More than a badge, more than a statistic in a male-dominated field, more than her past, Jane showed us that strength isn't about never being afraid. It's about charging forward anyway. She taught us resilience, loyalty, and that family isn't always about blood. Sometimes it's about the people who fight beside you, who have your back no matter what. Jane Rizzoli was a survivor, a protector, a relentless seeker of justice, and a testament to the idea that no matter how hard life gets, you never stop fighting. And maybe, just maybe, she made us all a little braver. Maura Isles wasn't just brilliant, she was brilliance personified, a walking encyclopedia of knowledge wrapped in impeccable fashion and an unshakable sense of logic. Played with elegance and nuance by Sasha Alexander, Maura taught us that intelligence is a gift, but true wisdom comes from knowing when to follow your heart instead of the data. Maura reminded us that kindness and intellect aren't mutually exclusive, that vulnerability isn't weakness, and that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is embrace who you are, quirks, awkwardness, and all. She was elegance in a world of chaos, precision in the face of uncertainty, and a living testament to the fact that curiosity isn't just a trait, it's a way of life. Through Maura, we learn that even the most logical minds have a beating heart, that knowledge is power, but true love and unwavering friendship is what gives it meaning. And maybe, just maybe, she showed us that being different isn't something to be ashamed of. It's something to be celebrated. Angela Rizzoli was more than just a mother. She was the heart of the Rizzoli family, the glue that held them together through every storm. But wasn't she also a woman searching for her own identity beyond the roles life had given her? Played with warmth and charm by Lorraine Bracco, Angela Rizzoli was the mother who loved fiercely, worried endlessly, and never stopped reminding Jane and Frankie that no matter how tough they were, they'd always be her babies. Yet, she was also the woman who refused to let life pass her by, proving that reinvention isn't just for the young. She taught us that strength comes in many forms, not just in solving crimes, but in offering a home-cooked meal, a shoulder to lean on, or a tough love pep talk when it was needed most. And maybe, just maybe, she showed us that being a mother isn't just about raising children. It's about shaping futures. Vince Korsak wasn't just a detective. He was the steady hand, the voice of reason, the mentor who proved that experience isn't just about years on the job, but about wisdom earned through life itself. But wasn't that his greatest strength? That quiet, unwavering presence, the kind that didn't demand respect but naturally commanded it? Played with depth and heart by McGill, Korsak was more than Jane Rizzoli's former partner. He was her rock, the one who had her back even when she didn't realize she needed it. He taught us that leadership isn't about barking orders, it's about lifting others up, knowing when to push and when to support. He was proof that family isn't always blood, it's the people who stand by you no matter what. And maybe, just maybe, he reminded us all that sometimes the strongest thing you can be is dependable. Barry Frost wasn't just Jane Rizzoli's partner. He was her balance, her unwavering backup, the quiet genius who saw things others missed. But wasn't he also the beating heart of the team, the one who brought warmth and humanity to a job that could so easily strip it away? Played with sincerity and depth by Thompson, Frost was more than just a tech whiz, he was a man of integrity, loyalty, and quiet courage. He reminded us that strength isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's in the steady presence of someone who simply refuses to let you fall. He struggled, he fought his own demons, but he never let them define him. And isn't that the greatest lesson of all? That kindness and resilience can coexist? That even in the darkest moments, there's always light if you choose to see it? Frost wasn't just a detective. He was a reminder that true strength is found in heart, in friendship, and in never giving up. Frankie Rizzoli Jr. was more than just the little brother in Jane's shadow. He proved that determination, heart, and resilience could carve out a legacy of their own. But wasn't that his greatest struggle? To be seen, not as Jane's younger sibling, but as his own man. Played with warmth and authenticity by Jordan Bridges, Frankie was the underdog we couldn't help but root for. The guy who got knocked down but always got back up. The cop who refused to let failures define him. Success wasn't about instant victories. It was about persistence, pushing forward even when the odds were stacked against him. He had the heart of a fighter, the loyalty of a brother, and the belief that one day he'd prove himself. And wasn't that his lesson? That if you keep showing up, keep fighting, keep believing, you'll get there? Frankie wasn't just a cop. He was a dreamer, a doer. A reminder that greatness is never easy, but always worth it. Tommy Rizzoli was the classic screw-up. The black sheep, the guy who made too many mistakes. But wasn't that exactly why we rooted for him? Because who hasn't felt like they've fallen too far, messed up too much, or carried the weight of past choices? Played with charm and depth by Colin, Tommy wasn't just Jane and Frankie's wayward brother. He was proof that redemption is never out of reach. He stumbled, he struggled, but he never stopped trying, showing us that the road to change is messy, full of detours, and never linear. He reminded us that family isn't just about shared blood, but about showing up, about proving, one small step at a time, that you are more than your worst mistakes. And isn't that the lesson he left us with? That no matter how many times you fall, what really matters is that you get back up. Lieutenant Colonel Charles Casey Jones was more than just Jane Rizzoli's love interest. He was a man torn between duty and desire, between the call to serve and the longing for a normal life. But isn't that what made him so compelling? The quiet war he fought within himself? The sacrifices he made? The weight of honor that never let him rest? Played with strength and vulnerability by Vance, Casey was the embodiment of a soldier's burden. The kind of man who gave everything to his country, even when it cost him the future he wanted. His love for Jane was real, but love alone couldn't heal the wounds he carried, the scars both seen and unseen. And isn't that the lesson he left us with? That sometimes, doing the right thing means walking away, that true strength isn't just about fighting battles. It's about knowing which ones to let go. Nina Holliday wasn't just the new tech genius at Boston PD. She was a force. A woman who stepped into a world of seasoned detectives and made it clear she belonged. But wasn't that her greatest strength? The ability to adapt, to prove that intelligence, determination, and raw skill could carve a place anywhere? Played with confidence and charisma by Idara Victor, Nina was sharp, fearless, and unapologetically herself. She reminded us that power isn't just about rank, it's about presence, about knowing your worth and refusing to shrink. She carried her past with her, shaped by loss but never defined by it, showing us that pain can be fuel, not a weakness. And isn't that the ultimate lesson? That resilience isn't just about survival, but about thriving, about taking up space, about proving that sometimes the quietest revolution is simply refusing to back down. Susie Chang wasn't just another forensic scientist. She was the hidden heartbeat of the crime lab, the sharp mind who pieced together the truths others overlooked. But wasn't that her true gift? The ability to find meaning in the smallest details, to uncover justice in fragments of evidence? Played with intelligence and warmth by Huang, Susie was more than a scientist. She was a friend, a confidant, the quirky yet brilliant presence that reminded us that strength isn't always loud. She worked in the shadows of the investigation, yet her impact was undeniable, proving that heroes don't always wear badges or chase down criminals. Sometimes, they saw puzzles in silence. And wasn't that her greatest lesson? That the work you do, no matter how unseen, matters. That brilliance comes in many forms, that even those who seem to exist in the background can leave the deepest mark. Kent Drake wasn't just the new guy in the lab. He was the wild card, the unexpected energy that shook things up in the best way. But wasn't that what made him unforgettable? The way he challenged norms, brought a fresh perspective, and proved that intellect and eccentricity could go hand in hand? Played with charm and wit by Adam Sinclair, Kent was more than just a forensic expert. He was a reminder that science isn't just about facts, but about curiosity, about pushing boundaries and daring to see things differently. He wasn't afraid to be bold, to question, to make his presence known. And wasn't that the lesson he left us with? That standing out isn't a flaw, it's a strength. That the best minds are the ones unafraid to be different. That sometimes, the biggest impact comes from those who refuse to blend in. Dr. Hope Martin, played by Sharon Lawrence, was a brilliant and accomplished pathologist who brought emotional depth and complexity to Rizzoli and Isles. Introduced as Maura Isles' biological mother, her arrival added layers of personal conflict, self-discovery, and heartbreak to Maura's journey. What made Hope memorable was her internal struggle between past mistakes and present redemption. She had given Maura up for adoption, believing it was the best choice, yet faced the painful reality of lost time. Through her, we saw the delicate balance of regret and second chances, reminding us that family isn't just about biology, but about the effort we put into building relationships. Hope taught us that healing takes time, but it's never too late to try. Frank Rizzoli Sr., portrayed by the legendary Chaz Palminteri, was more than just a father figure in Rizzoli and Isles. He was a walking contradiction, a man of old-school values trying to navigate a world that had outgrown him. Introduced in 2010, Frank Sr. was a tough, stubborn, and often problematic presence in Jane Rizzoli's life. His strained relationship with his family, particularly Jane, was marked by his outdated views and questionable decisions. Yet despite his flaws, he was a complex character who reflected the struggles of generational gaps, personal redemption, and the messy reality of family dynamics. He taught us that while respect and tradition have their place, real love comes from growth, accountability, and the willingness to change. Patrick "Paddy" Doyle, played by the formidable John Doman, was one of Rizzoli and Isles' most enigmatic and morally complex characters. Introduced as Maura Isles' biological father, Paddy wasn't just any absent parent. He was a powerful and feared Irish mob boss whose criminal empire cast a long shadow over his daughter's life. Despite his ruthless reputation, Paddy's love for Maura was undeniable, creating a compelling dynamic between loyalty, blood ties, and morality. His character was memorable for the way he walked the thin line between protector and villain, forcing Maura to confront the uncomfortable truth about her origins. Paddy Doyle taught us that family isn't always defined by love and trust, but by the choices we make, some that bind us together and others that tear us apart. Lieutenant Sean Cavanaugh wasn't just the man in charge, he was the foundation, the steady hand guiding Boston PD through chaos with experience, grit, and a quiet kind of wisdom. But wasn't that his greatest strength? The ability to lead not through fear or authority, but through respect, earned over years of walking the line between justice and politics? Played with gravitas and depth by Brian Goodman, Cavanaugh was a leader who understood that good cops weren't just measured by their arrests, but by the integrity they carried every day. He bore his own scars, past losses weighing on him, but he never let them break him. Instead, he showed us that real leadership isn't about being perfect. It's about standing tall even when the weight of responsibility is crushing. And isn't that the lesson he left us with? That true strength isn't just about making the tough calls, but about living with them. This concludes our journey through the unforgettable cast of Rizzoli and Isles 2010, Then and Now. Until next time, stay curious, stay courageous, and always follow the evidence.